This is the third video on unity. And let me say from the onset, we cannot be complacent with what we have, nor be careless with what we say or do. This video hopes to answer directly to the question, what are the deadly consequences of irresponsible so-called freedom of speech? The recent shooting at Copenhagen Cafe during a seminar of free speech and the killing of Charlie Hebdo, cartoonists in Paris, are the result of hurting religious feelings that led to such eventuality and such unnecessary division. The self-absorbed Amos Yee comparison of Lee to Christ had discriminative intent, coupled with the virulence of his criticism. He is clearly divisive and destructive, not only to others, but also to himself. I personally believe that the majority of the young people here in Singapore are level-headed. That's why there is no real reaction, and have an attitude of gratitude, not like this ungrateful, spoiled brat. Therefore, I challenge the youth of Singapore to stand up and debunk such half-truths, lies, and misrepresentations. The youth of Singapore must continue to take Amos Yee to task without resorting to mudsling of his weird behavior, as this will cause you to step on his shit or his rubbish and give him more unnecessary publicity. We must not allow this infamous Amos speak on behalf of the youth in such a crude and rude and unsubstantiated manner. Especially what he said about Christianity is totally out of whack. The youngsters have also asked me, Uncle, what are the most precious achievements Lee have left behind as a legacy for the last 50 years? What can we as Singaporeans commit to do in order to preserve it? My reply was, firstly, we all consider religious harmony as one most precious achievement of the past 50 years. Yes, we must do everything we can to preserve it. Now, firstly, Singapore is a secular state. We do not have state religion like other countries. And secondly, free speech is not an absolute right. Now, the Penal Code makes it an offense to utter words which deliberately wounds the religious feeling of others. The seditious act makes it an offense to promote feelings of ill will or hostility between different races or classes of population. If you remember, in 2005, 3 bloggers were convicted under Sedition Act for posting blog comments that were anti-Muslim. We must always remember what Lee said about multiracial and harmony in our nation. If we take language, race, and religion for granted, we can easily see the crack, because Lee regard this as a deep fault lines that could easily divide us for decades if we don't stay as one united people. We must manage those possible divisions as best as Lee and the old guards did when they faced strong opposition to enforce tough policies aimed at containing those differences. Now, in Singapore, unlike Denmark and France, cartoons which depicts the Prophet Muhammad will be deemed to be offensive, punishable under both penal codes and seditious act as not protected by the freedom of speech. I take time to share this so that young and old alike do not use internet or the message of civil liberty, or even worse, used by others to spout untruths and spread malicious lies. Especially in the social media world, what is written or said is permanent. And these are like tattoos in the online world. And your message cannot be withdrawn or deleted. Amos Yee, if you want to spout discriminating messages using abusive language to respected leaders in Singapore, you should be living in Western countries, not here. You may be better off as a stateless person, so we can roam everywhere and speak anything. Listen to what Lee have to say in this short clip.
Here we make the model multiracial society. This is not a country that belongs to any single community. It belongs to all of us. This was a mud flat swamp. Today this is a modern city. 10 years from now, this will be a metropolis. Never fear.
If it had not been for Emily's lifelong obsession to transform Singapore, you will be living in a mud-flat, swampy village or kampong. Singaporeans in general would like to thank Lee for balancing gingerly the extreme ideology of Western democracy for development. Many times, Lee have to be ruthlessly reasonable in order to temper the reality of developing Singapore into a first world nation. For what we have accomplished, we are still a society in transition. The next 50 years are where we see our exciting next Singapore story, with or without you, Amos Yee. You are good riddance and bad rubbish, period. For the next video, I will share the views of some national leaders like Mr. Tommy Koh and Mr. Kishore in regards to subject on how to maintain unity and harmony, and why and when Mr. Lee stands strongly on the press freedom. In that video, I will share what is Lee's parting gift to Singapore. I'm sure you want to know what is that parting gift, isn't it? See you soon.